There comes a time in life when the world seems to test your strength, your patience, and your heart. You may feel pain from words left unsaid, actions taken against you, or love that was not returned. Yet, there is a powerful truth: your reaction shapes your reality. When you learn to act as if nothing hurts you, you rise above what was meant to break you. Pain may feel endless when you are in the middle of it. It can grip your heart, occupy your mind, and make every moment feel heavy. Yet pain is never permanent. It is a passing state, a temporary visitor, not a permanent resident in your life. No matter how intense it feels today, it will soften over time. Your tears will not always fall as they do now, and your heart will not always ache the same way. Just as the seasons change, pain too transforms. It comes to teach you, to shape you, and to prepare you for a stronger version of yourself. When you allow yourself to understand that pain is temporary, you stop giving it the power to define your identity. You stop saying, "I am broken," and start saying, "Healing." Every moment you endure, every breath you take through the discomfort is proof that you are moving forward. Pain might make you bend, but it does not have to make you break. Even in your most fragile moments, there is a quiet force within you that remains untouched. That force is your true power, eternal, unshakable, and always waiting for you to remember it. Your power is not something external that can be taken away. It does not depend on who stays in your life or who leaves, on what you gain or what you lose. It is not tied to approval, love, or recognition from others. Your power lies deep inside, in the quiet space of your heart where your true essence resides. This is the part of you that has survived everything you have been through. The betrayals, the disappointments, the heartbreaks, the losses. It is the part of you that still chooses to rise, to believe, and to keep moving forward. When you stop resisting pain and start seeing it as a visitor, you realize that it has a purpose. It comes to reveal what needs to heal. It comes to strip away illusions, to help you see who truly supports you, and to make space for what is real and lasting. Pain refines your soul, but it does not own your future. The scars you carry are not signs of defeat. They are marks of survival, of the battles you faced and the lessons you earned. There is a profound strength in knowing that you can feel pain and still continue to grow. There is courage in waking up each day, carrying your hurt, and still choosing to live. And with each choice you make to keep going, you are reclaiming your power piece by piece. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a declaration. I am more than what hurt me. Your power is eternal because it does not live in the past. It lives in your ability to create now. Pain can remind you of what happened, but it cannot dictate who you become unless you allow it. When you start acting from your power rather than your wounds, you shift the energy of your life. You stop reacting to the world, and you start creating it. Think of all the times you believed the pain would never end. And yet here you are, still breathing, still learning, still standing. This is proof that your inner strength is far greater than any challenge that has come your way. The same force that carried you through before will carry you again. It may not be easy. Healing rarely is. But just as the darkest night eventually surrenders to the dawn, your pain too will fade, and your light will return. Hold on to the truth that you are bigger than your suffering. Pain is a moment, but your spirit is a lifetime. Your essence is infinite. It remembers joy. It creates love, and it can rebuild even after the deepest sorrow. Trust in this process. Trust in yourself. Let the pain pass through you, but do not let it take root in you. Do not let it become your identity. Stand in your truth. You are resilient, you are powerful, and you are whole, even while healing. Every moment you choose peace over anger, hope over despair, and self-belief over self-doubt, You are living from your eternal power. Pain may whisper that you are weak, but your soul knows the truth you are enduring, transforming, and rising. This is your reminder: the hurt you feel now will not last forever, but the strength you gain from moving through will stay with you for the rest of your life. Detachment is often misunderstood. Many believe it means being distant, unfeeling, or cold, but in truth, it is one of the greatest acts of strength you can cultivate in your life. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop allowing things and people to control your inner peace. It is the quiet art of being involved without being consumed, of loving without losing yourself, and of showing up for life without handing over your power. When you detach, you do not turn off your emotions. You simply stop letting them dictate every move you make. You recognize that your worth is not tied to how others treat you or how situations unfold. Detachment is standing in the storm and knowing the storm is not you. It is choosing to remain calm when chaos tries to pull you in. It is saying, I can love you. I can support you. I can be present, but I will not collapse when things don't go my way. True detachment comes from self-awareness. It grows when you start observing your reactions and asking yourself why you give so much power to things outside of you. Why does someone else's mood ruin your entire day? Why does an unanswered message feel like a reflection of your worth? Why do you allow circumstances you cannot control to steal your peace? These are the questions detachment helps you answer. Not with bitterness, but with clarity. When you learn to detach, you give yourself permission to breathe again. You stop trying to control what is not yours to control. You stop chasing validation, approval, and attention that were never guaranteed. You release the invisible chains that keep you bound to other people's actions and decisions. Detachment is freedom. Freedom to live your life without the weight of constant emotional reaction. It does not make you indifferent. On the contrary, it makes you more loving, more compassionate, and more stable, because your care is no longer based on fear or insecurity. You can give from a place of abundance instead of neediness. You can love someone deeply and still walk away if they treat you poorly. You can hope for the best but remain grounded if things turn out differently than you expected. Detachment also protects your energy. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every opinion deserves your response. Not every rejection should turn into a wound. Sometimes the most powerful action is no action. The choice to remain silent, to observe, to let things unfold without forcing, without begging, without proving your worth to anyone. It is not easy at first. Detachment feels uncomfortable because we have been taught that love equals holding on tightly, that loyalty equals sacrificing our peace, and that caring means always being available no matter the cost. But slowly, as you practice it, you will see the beauty in stepping back. You will notice how much clearer your mind comes because when you are not caught in everyone else's storms. You will notice how light your heart feels when you stop carrying responsibilities that are not yours to bear. Detachment is also a form of self-respect. It says, I can be kind, but I will not be used. I can be understanding, but I will not be disrespected. I can forgive, but I will not return to what destroys me. It sets a quiet boundary between what you give and what you allow to take from you. And that boundary is where your peace begins. Imagine how different your life would feel if you woke up each morning knowing that nothing outside you has the power to decide your worth. Imagine living without the constant pull of reaction, no longer tied to who texts back, who notices your effort, or who fails to see your value. That is the gift detachment offers: the ability to live fully, to give freely, to love deeply, and yet remain whole. Life will always have uncertainties. People will change, situations will shift. If your peace depends on everything going your way, you will spend most of your life disappointed. Detachment says, I will live, I will hope, I will love, but I will not lose myself when life takes another turn. It is strength disguised as softness. It is wisdom disguised as calm. It is power hidden behind stillness. And with practice, detachment becomes natural. It stops being a defense mechanism and starts being your way of moving through the world with grace, with dignity, with quiet confidence. You stop clinging and start trusting. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop fearing loss and start understanding that nothing meant for you will ever require you to break yourself to keep it. This is what true strength looks like. Not the loud kind that shouts or proves, but the silent kind that stands tall, no matter who stays or goes, no matter what changes or remains. Detachment allows you to love with open hands instead of clenched fists. It teaches you to hold space for people and possibilities without losing your center. And in that space, you find your peace, your freedom, and your true power. Every interaction you have sends a message about who you are and what you will allow. The way you respond, the way you carry yourself, the energy you project, all of it teaches people how to approach you, how to value you, and how to respect you. Your reaction is not just an emotional expression. It is a form of silent communication that shapes the way others see and treat you. When someone crosses a boundary and you remain silent, they learn that your boundaries can be crossed. When someone disrespects you and you explain it away, they learn that your respect can be negotiated. When someone takes advantage of your kindness and you continue to give without pause, they learn that your generosity comes without limits. It is not always what you say. It is what you allow. Your reaction sets the tone. It tells people where the lines are drawn, where your energy begins and ends, and what will happen if they ignore your worth. If you meet disrespect with chaos, shouting, or desperate attempts to be understood, you may feel momentary release, but you are also teaching others that you can be provoked, that your peace can be disturbed, and that your self-control is fragile. But if you respond with calmness, if you choose silence over noise and firm boundaries over emotional explosions, you send a much stronger message: you cannot be shaken easily. And your value does not depend on their behavior. This is not about pretending to be unaffected. It is about being aware of the power in your presence. People remember not only what you say, but how you made them feel about you. A composed response in the face of conflict creates an impression of self-respect. Respect lingers far longer than outburst. When you stand in your truth without trying to convince anyone, you show that your worth is not up for debate. It is important to understand that reaction is a choice. It may not always feel that way because emotions rise fast and strong, but between the moment something happens and the moment you respond, there is a space. In that space lies your power. That is where you decide, will I hand over my peace to this situation, or will I keep my center intact? Will I prove them right by losing myself, or will I teach them without words that I will not be moved so easily? Every time you choose a composed, self-respecting reaction, you are setting a standard. People may test you once, they may test you twice, but if your reaction remains steady, they learn the truth. Your energy is not a playground. This does not mean you tolerate disrespect. It means you address it with clarity, not chaos. You express your truth calmly. You enforce your boundaries without begging, and you let your actions, not your arguments, speak for you. Over time, this changes the dynamics around you. Those who are drawn to drama will drift away because they cannot feed on your peace. Those who respect strength will stay because they feel the weight of your presence. Your life begins to attract people and situations that align with your inner strength. because your reaction no longer invites chaos. It invites respect. Think of how often you have given your power away by reacting too quickly, by explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you, by lowering your energy to match the noise of others. Each of those moments is a lesson, and now you know better. You do not need to defend your worth. It is inherent. You do not need to prove your truth. Your consistency will show it over time. When you respond with balance, you also teach yourself. You reinforce the belief that your peace is valuable, that your time is sacred, and that your emotions are not to be spent carelessly. You begin to build a relationship with yourself based on respect, and that relationship sets the standard for every other connection you have. It may feel challenging at first, especially if you are used to reacting out of habit or fear of loss. But the more you practice choosing stillness over reaction, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, people no longer expect you to argue, beg, or chase. They expect you to stand firm. They know where they stand with you because your reaction is clear. You will not accept less than you deserve, and you will not lose your dignity to keep anyone close. This is the quiet power of presence. It does not scream. It does not threaten. It simply is. It says, I know my worth, and my response will reflect it. In every situation, you hold that choice. And each choice shapes the way others see you, treat you, and value you. The universe is a vast mirror, constantly reflecting back to you the energy you emit. What you carry within, you see expressed around you. The way you think, feel, and behave shapes the experiences, people, and opportunities that come your way. This is not a matter of chance. It is a law of resonance. Energy attracts like energy. If your inner world is filled with doubt, fear, or resentment, you will find more of it in your outer world. If you nurture faith, gratitude, and inner peace, you will witness doors opening, connections aligning, and circumstances shifting in your favor. Every thought has a frequency. Every emotion carries a vibration. When you spend your days replaying old wounds or expecting the worst, you are unintentionally sending out a signal that says, bring me more of this. And the universe, being neutral and responsive, matches that frequency and delivers situations that feel familiar to the energy you hold. But when you start choosing thoughts that empower you, when you begin feeling gratitude for what you have instead of obsessing over what you lack, you start tuning your frequency to abundance, to healing, to love. This is why inner work is more important than any outer action. You can chase opportunities, demand respect, or beg for love, but if your energy is rooted in lack or desperation, you will keep encountering resistance. The universe does not respond to your words alone. It responds to the vibration behind them. You might say, I deserve better. But if deep down you believe you are unworthy, that belief will color everything you receive. The beautiful truth is that you have the power to change this. You are not bound to your old patterns. The moment you become aware of the energy you are emitting, you can begin to shift it. You can wake up each day and ask yourself, what am I radiating right now? Fear or faith? Complaints or gratitude? Resistance or flow? Your outer world will always catch up with your inner world, so the work begins within. It does not mean you have to feel positive every second. It means you practice aligning with what you want, even when life feels uncertain. If you want love, nurture love within you. Be kind to yourself. Treat others with compassion, not because they have earned it, but because that is the energy you choose to carry. If you want abundance, stop rehearsing scarcity in your mind. Celebrate the money you do have, the opportunities that do exist, and the small signs of growth that appear. The universe listens to your consistency, not your occasional wish. One moment of positive thinking is a seed, but consistent alignment is the garden. And the more you practice being aware of your energy, the more sensitive you become to how it shapes your path. You will notice how certain people feel heavy because they no longer match your vibration. You will notice how certain doors close because they were never meant for your highest good. And you will see how new doors open almost effortlessly when you stop forcing and start aligning. Sometimes the universe will even remove things that you thought you wanted, not as a punishment, but as a redirection. It mirrors not just your desires, but also your growth. If you are rising, it will reflect people and circumstances that support your rise. If you are clinging to what keeps you small, it will bring situations that challenge you to let go. This is not cruelty. It is wisdom in motion. Your energy is your responsibility. No one else can hold it for you, clean it for you, or raise it for you. You decide what to carry. You decide what to release. And when you start taking that responsibility seriously, you become magnetic. Not because you are chasing, but because you are radiating. Even in moments of pain, you can choose your energy. You can feel hurt and still carry faith. You can be disappointed and still remain open to life. This is the essence of co-creation, not controlling every detail, but trusting that what you send out will come back multiplied. The universe is always listening, always mirroring, always responding to the story you tell through your energy. So ask yourself today, what story am I broadcasting? Is it one of lack, struggle, and fear? Or is it one of trust, resilience, and worthiness? Because what you hold inside will become your reality outside. The mirror does not lie, it simply reflects. The moment you choose to shift your inner stage, the mirror begins to change. It might not happen overnight, but every small shift in your energy is like a new ripple in the ocean of your life. Smile when it's hard. Speak kindly to yourself when no one is listening. Let go of grudges that poison your heart. Celebrate small wins. These are not small acts. They are signals, powerful and clear, that you are ready to align with a better reflection. And soon, the universe will match that readiness with opportunities, people, and moments that remind you you were never powerless. You were always creating. Now you are creating consciously. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, not a favor you do for someone else. Many people misunderstand forgiveness as a sign of weakness or as a way of saying that what happened was acceptable. But true forgiveness does not mean erasing the past or excusing harmful behavior. It means releasing the emotional weight that keeps you tied to that pain. It is letting go of the anger, the bitterness, the endless replay of what they did to me, and choosing to reclaim your peace. When you forgive, you set yourself free. You stop carrying the poison that was never meant for you to hold. Unforgiveness is like drinking something toxic every day and expecting the other person to suffer. It eats at your joy, it clouds your clarity, and it slows down your healing. Forgiveness, on the other hand, clears that space. It allows your heart to breathe again. It opens the door for new energy to enter. It does not mean they were right. It means you are ready to be free. But forgiving does not mean forgetting your power. This is where many people make the mistake of thinking forgiveness equals reconciliation or blind trust. To forgive is to let go of the burden, but to keep your power is to remember the lesson. You do not have to invite everyone back into your life. You do not have to open the same door that was once slammed in your face. You can forgive and still choose distance. You can forgive and still enforce boundaries. Holding on to your power means understanding that your well-being matters. It means saying, I release you from my heart, but I will not lower my standards to make room for the same hurt again. This is not revenge. It is wisdom. It is choosing to walk forward with your head high, knowing that the experience shaped you, but it does not define you. There is strength in quiet forgiveness, the kind where you do not announce it. You do not seek applause for it. You simply decide, I deserve peace more than I deserve to stay angry. And in that moment, you begin to heal. Anger may have given you a sense of control for a while, but it is heavy. Resentment may have felt like a shield, but it also kept your heart closed. When you forgive, you lay those burdens down, not because they asked you to, but because you want your energy back. Forgiveness is not forgetting what happened. It is remembering it with clarity instead of pain. It is saying, I see what this taught me. I see how it woke me up. I see how it forced me to grow. Your power lies in that awareness. If you forget everything, you leave yourself open to repeat the same cycles. But if you remember the truth and still choose peace, you become stronger, wiser, and far more resilient. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You may carry guilt for the times you stayed too long, for the times you allowed too much, for the times you ignored your intuition. But just as you extend forgiveness to others, you must also extend it to your own heart. You did what you knew with the awareness you had. Now you know better. Forgiving yourself is how you step out of the shadow of the past and into the power of the present. It is important to understand that forgiveness is a process. It does not happen all at once. Some days the anger will resurface. Some days the memory will sting. But each time you choose to release instead of reattach, you strengthen your freedom. Each time you remind yourself, why do not live there anymore? You reclaim another piece of your power. Holding grudges does not punish those who hurt you. It punishes your peace. It keeps you tethered to a story that no longer serves you. Forgiveness cuts that cord. It says, I honor myself enough to let this go. I am not here to keep carrying the past. I am here to create my future. And when you forgive, you create space for what is real. Love that does not hurt, friendships that do not take, opportunities that do not drain you. You invite in the kind of life that your anger once blocked. So forgive, but do not forget your worth. Forgive, but do not erase your boundaries. Forgive, but do not silence your wisdom. Your heart can be open and your standards can still stand tall. The two do not cancel each other. They complete each other. You are not weak because you forgave. You are powerful because you did. You chose to carry light where there was once heaviness. You chose to heal where there was once harm. And you chose to protect your future while releasing your past. That is real strength. Walking away with a light heart is one of the most powerful acts of self-respect and emotional freedom you can ever give yourself. It is not about pretending that you never cared, nor is it about denying the pain you felt. It is about choosing to leave behind what weighs you down without carrying bitterness into the next chapter of your life. It is an inner decision that says, I deserve peace more than I deserve to stay in this heaviness. A life is full of endings that do not always come with closure. People walk out without explanation. Situations collapse despite your effort, and dreams you held onto for so long suddenly lose their shape. The natural instinct is to cling, to fight, to demand answers, or to leave with a heart full of resentment. But that only ties you further to what already chose to let go of you. Walking away with a light heart is the opposite. It is an act of strength that whispers, I am done trying to rewrite the past. I am ready to create a better future. It does not mean that what happened did not hurt. It means you have chosen not to let the hurt turn into a permanent home in your heart. You acknowledge the lesson, you feel the loss, but you also make a conscious choice to rise above it. Carrying grudges, anger, or the constant need to prove something to those who hurt you only keeps you trapped in their shadow. A light heart carries wisdom without the chains of vengeance. When you walk away with lightness, you are not running from responsibility, you are stepping into alignment. You are saying no to cycles that drain you, to conversations that lead nowhere, to relationships that require you to abandon yourself just to keep them alive. You are choosing not to be defined by what fell apart, but by what you build next. This is not always easy. Walking away with a heavy heart feels natural because it mirrors your pain. Walking away with a light heart requires a different kind of courage. It requires forgiveness, not necessarily reconciliation, but the kind of forgiveness that frees your spirit. It requires acceptance, not agreement with what happened, but surrender to the reality that it did. It requires faith, that even though this chapter ended, the story is far from over, and something better can find you if you make room for it. You do not owe the world your bitterness. You owe yourself your peace. You do not have to carry explanations for why things did not work out, nor do you have to the villain in anyone else's story. You can leave quietly, with dignity, with your energy intact, because what you carry with you becomes the seed for what you will plant next. If you leave in anger, you plant anger. If you leave in grace, you plant grace. Think of the times you held on too tightly, to people who had already let go, to jobs that had already drained their purpose, to friendships that had stopped being mutual. Did holding on ever truly make it better? Or did it only prolong your pain? There is a deep wisdom in knowing when to stay, and when to step away, not with a slammed door, but with a gentle release. A light heart does not seek revenge. It seeks peace. It does not replay the story over and over to gather sympathy. It tells a new story. It does not speak ill of those who could not see your worth. It blesses them from afar and keeps moving forward, because ultimately, walking away is not about them. It is about you and the life you are creating. And here is the beauty of walking away with lightness. It creates space. The energy you once spent on explaining, fixing, or convincing becomes available for your healing, your dreams, your growth. You begin to notice opportunities that were invisible when your heart was heavy. You attract people who meet you where you are, not where your wounds kept you. There is a quiet confidence that comes from walking away this way. You are no longer controlled by what did not work out. You are no longer tied to proving your value to those who overlooked it. You walk forward lighter, freer, more open to the possibilities ahead. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and even for others is to walk away. Not out of spite, but out of self-honor. You cannot force someone to value you, but you can value yourself enough not to stay where you're unseen. You cannot control how others behave, but you can control how much of your life you spend trying to change them. So choose to leave with a heart that is light, a mind that is clear, and a spirit that is ready for something more. Release what has already released you. Bless what's behind you, and step forward, not because it is easy, but because your peace is worth far more than staying stuck in what was.